What's up, guys? So today we're going to have a look at malicious Office documents. We're going to look at how to create them, how to hack a computer with them, but we're also going to look at how to detect them with Elasticsearch. Let's get straight to it. So phishing via attachment is really common, and it's actually a lot easier than you think. So us as defenders, we need to know how this works and how to detect it, and that's what this video is about. So let's dive straight into Kali Linux and let's build this malicious Word document. To get started with this attack, we need to set up a few things. If I run IP address on my Kali box, you can see this is our local IP address. This is the address that the attacker is sitting at and what we want the victim to connect back to. So we're going to be using a little script I found off of GitHub. I will put the link below in the description, and this is it right over here. We're going to use this to generate our PowerShell payload. So we can use Python 3. I've just saved it as PowerShell gen. There is our local IP address and the port we want this payload to come back to. Okay, so we're going to generate that. And now this is going to go into our malicious document, but not like this, because VBScript actually has a 255 character limit. So we need to break this up into string variables, okay? And I have a script for that. We can open up mousepad, convert.py. Here it is over here. You can pause over here just if you want to copy this down, just pause and then copy it down. In this variable over here, we're going to paste our payload, okay? Save that script and close it, and then we're just going to run convert.py. This has broken it up like this so that VBScript can actually run it. And then just before we jump over to our Windows box, we need to make sure that we have a listener enabled on this Kali machine. Have a look here, I already have it running. We're just using a very simple netcat listener that's listening on port 443. Why is it listening on port 443? Because that is the port that we specified over here when we created our payload. It is very important that these two match for this attack to work. Okay, let's jump over to our Windows box. Okay, so in your Windows machine, you're going to have Word installed, and you're going to go to the developer tab. I've just called this document bad.docx. You're going to go to macros. If you haven't got one created, you're just going to say create and give it the name auto open. In our case, we're going to edit. And here is my little template. Once again, you can pause and jot this down so that you guys have this template. But what we're going to do is the strings that we created in Kali, we're going to drop them in over here. It's going to make sure that our tabs, our indents, are set correctly. So we're just going to move this over and clean that up over there. And this is our payload. Very simple. Like I said in the beginning, it's a lot easier than it seems. Obviously, this can be a rabbit hole, and you can go really down this rabbit hole with obfuscation and whatnot. But this is it in its simplest forms. So we are going to save this document, close it down. There it is over here on the desktop, bad.docx. So just before we execute this, we are going to double check that our listener is listening. There we go. We can see we're still listening on any port, on any IP address on this port. And let's double click this document. And go back here to our, let's go to our Kali machine. You can see we have a connection received from this IP address. And there we go. We are on this machine. So IP config. You can see that's the IP address of the machine we've compromised. Who am I? I am Russell on this virtual machine. Now, how do we detect this? How do we detect Word spawning PowerShell? How do we detect this? That's where Elasticsearch comes in. Let's get straight to it. Whoa. Dude, you've gone completely off of script. No, don't give me that face. We've been through this. It's all here in the script. Cyber awareness training. You've done a lot of it. Number 1, do not open emails from senders that you do not know. Number 2, don't download attachments from said emails. And number 3, make sure your antivirus is up to date. Now you can go on with your fancy SIEMs and EDRs and all of that type of stuff. As you were, thank you. Now we're in Elasticsearch. If you haven't watched Defense Against the Dark Arts episode 1, now would be the time to do that, because we show you how to set this up, how to get the agent running, how to get logs shipped to Elasticsearch, and all of that jazz. We show you in that first episode. So if you've done that already, we can carry on. Let's go to the Discover tab. Here you can see the query that I have created. And we have a little hit over here. So let me explain this query to you. So what we're looking for is an event category, process, or event action that has been started, okay, with a process parent name of WINWORD.EXE. In our case, it was Microsoft Word that spawned PowerShell and gave our attacker a reverse shell to this machine. But we all know that Excel can also run macros and a whole bunch of other Office applications. So here you can just flesh it out and add all of the different Office applications in your environment. And then the second portion is a process name, powershell.exe, as well as a process command line text that contains the word PowerShell, okay? Very, very basic. This can be expanded on. You can jump to a whole bunch of other process command lines, other process names. Play with this and you'll be able to start pulling out some really cool data, because in this instance, WinWord should not be spawning PowerShell. I mean, maybe there's some weird business case somewhere for that, but I haven't seen it. So this would be flagged as malicious in my eyes. And if we look at the hit that we got over here, we can drill it down. We can have a look and see, okay, well, we'll have an IP address in here. You can see that's the local IP address. We can go down and see the username that ran it, the working directory from where it was ran. But I'm interested in the command that was ran, this base 64 encoded command. Okay, so we can copy that. We can go over here. I've already done this while I was prepping, and we can decode this. Whoops. And have a look. Here is a classic PowerShell reverse shell payload. There's the IP address of our attacker and the port that they used to connect to us from. So now you can take this to your firewall team. They can block it. If this is a public IP address, they could block it, and they can kind of start the incident response process. So yeah, that's us. And there you go, folks. That's how you hack a computer with a Word document, as well as how to find this in Elasticsearch. I hope this was awesome. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that subscribe button and smash that like button and have yourselves a rad day. Cheers.